about players that are fully fit, right? Because you always remember, when you start of a season, it doesn't matter how much you do pre-season. I used to do a pre-season and a pre-season ready to start. But it still took 3 or 4 games. And what it is match fitness is a strange thing. You don't feel tired anymore. But you do feel tired for the first 2, 3, 4 games. And then you're running without pain. And you need to get, it's so hard to get to that. But then after that, you have, and a number of our players, it will be 7, 8, 9 games before we get it because they've had this little bit of a break. What do we need to add? We need to get them all up to speed as quick as we possibly can. And remember how hard a start we've got. We've got a tough start. But then everybody else has got a tough start that's going to play against us. Nobody would want to play against us just now, in the fact that we can make these adaptations. So what do we need to do? Keep that belief going. The belief is sky high at the moment. Keep that belief going. Sky's the limit for us.
Pat's already kind of indirectly answered it, but what answers do we not have yet? Is it an answer of perhaps there isn't a first 11, perhaps there isn't a best team, there isn't a favoured back three, there isn't, you know, who's going to play wing back? So what answers do we not have, and do we ever get those answers, or is it a case of that doesn't exist in football anymore?
I think in certain teams it does exist. Burnley, I could probably name you their whole 11.
Liverpool, funnily enough.
And be right.
Almost
yeah,
almost
Liverpool. Yeah, indeed,
Yeah.
indeed. But for some teams, especially with managers like Thomas Tuchel, Pep Guardiola, a little bit Mikel Arteta as well, these guys who kind of, instead of viewing your team as just 11 men, they'll beat anyone. It is very much, okay, who am I playing? Is it West Ham, whatever it is, and then what are their weaknesses? Who can then exploit that weakness? And then using whatever is in your arsenal to try and do so. So yeah, I'd probably say it's that.
Pat, we've seen that mentality is not an issue because this team has won the Champions League now. You're going to come into pre-season just exuding confidence. So what is the biggest question mark over this team now?
Keep on doing it. Can you keep on improving? I look at Kai Havertz. Yeah, you're going to improve. He's a fantastic player, but you're going to improve. Werner, you're going to improve. Mason Mount, Reece James, hudson-odoi, you're all going to improve. They're all young players who are actually getting better. I mean, Chalobah, he's going to improve.
Yeah, indeed.
You know, you look at, and that's, but keep on improving. And it sounds the easiest thing though, but a lot of players get to a certain level, which is a very high level, and think, yeah, I'm there now. And that's what famously Pep Guardiola was always very good at. You know, taking a Raheem Sterling as he did and improving him as a player. And that's what Thomas Tuchel wants to do. He's taking our lads that are already European champions, now improve. And it's a big call, it's a big ask, but in football it's a classic old saying, you stand still, you go backwards. And we can't stand still. And that's why we are pushing it at the moment, and pushing it to get the best out of all those players. By the way, could I go back to an earlier point I mentioned? Everyone comes back and it takes 4 or 5 games. Of course, that has nothing got to do with N'Golo Kanté. It doesn't affect him whatsoever at all. He's just fine all the time.
Yeah. This is it, though, isn't it? Like you just said there about getting to that intensity and getting to that level. This is where I suppose it's obviously a blessing to be in a final anyway of this magnitude, but also the fact that 3 or 4 days before a first competitive game, like you said, it takes 4 or 5 games for some teams to get into it. Chelsea could be at that level earlier because they've got more intense games and a cup final tonight.
100%, 100%. And obviously, with the way things are at the moment, it's probably been very hard to kind of schedule pre-season games. A lot of teams have had to stay in the country, not been able to travel to Asia, America, Africa, different places where they've played them, and maybe play more games than they would have liked to, because also every other team in England is trying to organise friendlies, so it's not so easy. But yeah, getting an extra one in a competitive final as well is even more so important.
Let's have a chat then about the speculation that is surrounding it. It's purely only rumour, and again, we're all sitting here as fans. This is speculation. There is nothing official that has been confirmed yet. There's nothing like that. But the noises are that Romelu Lukaku is potentially going to be a new arrival at Stamford Bridge this summer. Pat, we know how good Romelu is. He's been here before. He's arguably, he's probably in the top 3 or 4 strikers in world football at the moment. If he is the name that makes the addition, that is a new arrival this summer, how important would he be to Thomas Tuchel's plans?
He's such an interesting character, isn't he? I watched him at Everton, and it was odd though because Everton played in a way that there was 2 teams. There was Team Everton and Team Romelu, and you kind of didn't want that. You want it. That won't happen here. Thomas won't let that happen. He'll have to be part of Team Thomas. And I think what he did in Italy, you've chatted with us off air about this. What he did in Italy was change a little bit, and he changed. And there was a lot of chat. I heard a lot of people saying about a dietary thing, a problem he had with his stomach, and he wasn't able do things with his foot that he was supposed to. They've fixed that. So his movements better. His miles and kilometres covered is increased as well. And I don't think he's ever going to be chasing people, Jamie Vardy, closing down for the entirety of a match. But we're a high tempo team, and Romulu's going to have to be high tempo. If he can add a little bit of that high tempo pressing to every other bit of his game that he's got, because he's got everything else, we could be extraordinary if we get him. Add that to the end of every sentence. If we get him.
I must stress, obviously, this is still speculation, rumour, everything of those. But Zach, if he does arrive this summer, how does he change the way that we play? Or does he?
I don't think he does. I think Tuchel loves the system that he has at the moment. Maybe it slightly goes to a 2 up top like he had at Inter Milan, and maybe that benefits Timo Werner as well, who had that at RB Leipzig. But I think the majority it will stay the same. And the thing is as well, we're such a flexible side that within the formation we have another 3 other formations that happen when we're defending, when we're counter-attacking, when we're dominating the ball. I think the thing is as well, Romelu has definitely changed. He's not the same player anymore than he was at United, when maybe the majority of people last saw him. He's really come on into Milan, and he's now 28 as well. If he signs, it'll be a player for now, not necessarily for the next 10 years or so. And he's not, even though he is a big striker, he's not just the target man who wants it at his chest, fired it in. If anything, he's really improved on that into Milan. He can play with the ball. He is quick. He can dribble. And I think he's also really enjoyed the being the star guy for Inter, which he'd have to try and do as well at Chelsea, because he'd be trying to score all the goals.
64 goals in 2 seasons.
Not bad.
In all comps at Inter Milan. Belgium's all-time leading goal scorer. Pat, let's talk about a wider context of, do we expect any more additions this summer? Do we expect new arrivals? And if so, not in terms of personnel, but in terms of what area do you think Thomas Tuchel would strengthen?
I do think all the hints we're hearing about another centre-back could be a possibility. I'm confused if we buy in another player to play behind a striker. I mean, the queue there's just ridiculous. I mean, seriously? Come on. We look really strong in that centre midfield area. I think we look fabulous there. If you can let Billy Gilmore go out, you must be okay there. And certainly in the wide right attacking area, we've got 3 players there that are all comfortable in doing that position. And left as well. I mean, we kind of almost overlooked, a lot of people overlooked Emerson for a while. And in actual fact, you shouldn't. Because he did really well in the Euros, didn't he? Fabulously well, and he got his opportunity. And you've got Alonso there, and you've got Ben there as well. So, there's not a problem, but if you're going to be ultra cautious, belt, braces, and a couple of zips and a couple of safety pins as well, you're going to talk about a centre back, maybe who's a bit younger. You're going to bring in, who eventually will walk into Thiago Silva's place, and the possibility of somebody who gives you 20 goals a season. That's it.
It's interesting, isn't it? It's going to be very, very interesting as well, especially because Thomas Tuchel was asked about these questions, but rightly so, he was very much focused on tonight. So let's hear from the manager yesterday at his pre-match press conference.
After the season you had last season, the most spectacular end you could possibly have, can you talk a little bit about what the pressure that puts on you, puts on Chelsea? I think after the final you said, after you met Roman, that it could only go downhill from there, because obviously it was the greatest moment it could be. But obviously the expectation at Chelsea is to build on that, isn't it? So what sort of pressure does that put on you and this Chelsea team?
Well, but this is... I can understand your question and your point, but it does not feel like pressure, because this is what we demand of ourselves, me and first side. This is what I demand of myself, to provide, to get better every day, to use my experiences, and to be the best coach possible every single day, and to lead by example, to come into Cobham with good mood and full of energy, and ready to continue the journey together.
Yeah, like obviously, as you mentioned, last season was a great success for us, and we want to build onto that, and we want to do more, and it starts tomorrow.
Yeah, I think Chelsea is a club, like I said before, that is used to winning trophies, and that every year is competing for some trophies. And this young team has shown that in the last year that we can we can achieve great things. And I think we are not going. Well, I'm not thinking. I'm sure that we are not going to stop there. We are a young team that is hungry for titles, that want to win titles, and we need to concentrate for tomorrow to lift our first one of this season.
How close is Romelu Lukaku to joining Chelsea, and what will he add to the squad when you are in a position to announce him?
Well, I'm absolutely not in a position to announce anything, and I will maybe refuse to talk about it because we are in a match day -1 press conference before a European final, and it's clearly not the moment for personal discussions of our squad. As you know, I have a lot of trust in the existing squad, and we proved already that we can be a strong side. I talked many times about that we discussed together our ideas how to improve the squad, which is not easy. With Oliver Giroud leaving the club and having also an important role over the last years, we miss a certain profile of attacker. And then we need to wait and see what's possible, what's not possible. But we are not in hectic, we are not in panic, and we are happy to work with the team and to arrive with a team like it is tomorrow. And today there is nothing to announce, and it will always stay like this, that I will not talk about it until the moment we have something to be announced.
It's really interesting to hear the players and the manager. You can see straight away as well, boys, they're very serious, they're very focused on tonight, and that's what you want to see as well, isn't it? Because, you know, with all the jubilation of the summer and players that have been away playing in the Euros, etc., it's nice to know now that serious business, and they're very much taking tonight as it's a European trophy to win.
Yeah, you have to as well, right? I mean, they've celebrated the Champions League win, and it was a fantastic win at that. But it's a new season now. It's a new season. People can say, "Oh, you won the Champions League last year." They can say that as much as they like, but it's all about the now and future and the present. Because at the end of the day, whatever happens this season, you can't just say, "I've won the Champions League last year." It's about what's happening now.
Well, not that we need an excuse to see it again, boys, but let's have a little look at the goal from Porto, shall we? Because I know that you two would have had a very different view to the one that I had, because you were there, weren't you, in Porto? But I mean, everything from the touch from Chilwell, the pass from Mount, and then I think I've seen this in slow motion about 9,000 times, and I could watch it every day forevermore, because what a goal, what composure, and what a moment for Kai Havertz as well, Pat, because, you know, we've all sat here and we've just loved watching him all season, but he's now part of Chelsea folklore forever.
Yeah, it doesn't matter what happens from now on. But by the way, I always go back to that moment there. In the stadium at that moment.
My God,
when you were able to watch all the different types of celebration from every player. Rudiger's one was hilarious.
Oh, it was really good.
Absolutely brilliant. He ran 90 yards in his big diagonal across the back. So it was magical to be there, and that moment was great. And see Aspi doing that was phenomenal. But
beautiful.
there are so many big memories. I'm not rubbing it in, because we were there, and it was magical to be there, and the special times it was. I mean, the fact it was so few people could go, we were in the midst of the pandemic, stuff was still going on, all that. But it was a magical time that they must feel, we've tasted that. Yeah. We have tasted that. We want to taste that again. See, if you're Kai, how much do you grow? Just with that moment, knowing that that's behind you. I mean, I'm really happy for him, because remember, it wasn't an easy start to the season for him. It was really tough. Couldn't get games, getting written off by a lot of people.
Got COVID as well.
Pardon?
He got long COVID as well.
Yeah, exactly, and that was a lot to fight back from. But I think people who watch the game and watch them closely, and Chelsea fans who watch them weekly, they know it's fine. I always used the phrase with him all the way through last season. It's not if, it's when. You know, with others you won't say that. With him, it's not if, when. And the when is now. Let's try to get in how soon is that now. It's now. And I'm really, really happy for him, because I do think, I don't like using hyperbole too much. He could be one of the great players on the planet. He could be. He's got everything you need to be one of the great players on the planet in the next 10 years. It's not absolute stick-on certainty, but it wouldn't shock me if he was.
Absolutely not. He's a very, very special player. He's a very special player. Zach, I mean, we're no stranger to the Super Cup. We've been in this position a couple of times, even in recent memory. I think Liverpool was the last one a couple of years back when we won the Europa League off the back of it. But we have won it once before. Tonight would be very nice if we could double that. Let's have a little look at the 98, because it's a lovely moment from Gus Poyet with a goal. And Pat, I'd imagine around about this time as well, you'd have still been playing, wouldn't you?
I was, yeah.
So from afar, you'd have still had friends here at Chelsea. How was this received?
Whatever.
Sorry, boys, I want to dive in as well. Take note, because there's going to be a quiz on this later. So, sorry, Pat, continue.
Could you not have said that a minute before? And we'd have noticed it. I think I'll vaguely remember who scored, and that'll be about it. It was magical because the firsts are always special. You know, the first time you win any trophy is always special. To be honest, there's been a lot for Chelsea, haven't there? You know, in the last number of years. In the modern era for Chelsea, there has been quite a lot of them. And that was a first. And you can't take that away from them. And I'm so happy for Gus because, you know, he's just such a fun guy. He loved Chelsea, he loved his time here. And, you know, there's hardly a player who worked with him who has got a bad word to say against him. And if you've scored the winning goal in the cup final, as we say about Kai, it never goes away.
This is a different expectation as well tonight, though, isn't it, Zach? Because, you know, we went into the Champions League final as second favourites.
Yeah, sure.
Villarreal, same position, would have gone into its second favourites, beat Man United on penalties. So tonight we go in as favourites, expected to win. And then there comes a different expectation with that, doesn't there? You know, you've got the badge on your arm this season to say you're champions of Europe, but this is where you go, OK, now we have to stand up and prove it every week.
Yeah, and I think we're going to have this a lot more this season than we did last season. I think last season, obviously, we had so many players join us, a new manager. Very much, there was an unknown around Chelsea. No one knew kind of what to expect. Whereas now, they've seen what's happened. These guys are the European champions. We're going to be going into, I would say, 95% of our games as the favourites to win them. So it's a new pressure that these guys are going to have to deal with. But if you want to be playing in the best team in the world and for the best manager and stuff like that, you need to be able to deal with this pressure. You need to be able to beat low blocks if that's what they're going to do, if they think that's how they're going to defend against you. You need to come over this pressure. And, it's going to probably start tonight and happen quite a bit over the season.
So a little chat about the opposition tonight then, Pat, because Villarreal are a very good side, you know, European Europa League winners, managed by Unai Emery, who Arsenal fans will be remembering, PSG manager as well, formerly. They've got a lot of calibre in terms of players and know-how within the squad, so it's not going to be an easy one this evening, is it?
Do you know that the Iberian Peninsula in this trophy is incredible? When you think of the Portuguese and particularly Spanish teams that have won it, it's incredible. They love this trophy. You take it much more seriously, actually, than, to be honest, the English teams, and they always have done. But they will be a tough team to beat. They've not had a brilliant pre-season. They really have. I don't know if they've actually won a game yet.
No, they haven't.
5 or 6 games in this pre-season. And on top of that, they've had a few injuries as well. So, oddly enough, it's a real opportunity maybe to get them. We've got quite a few players missing as well, but this is not a bad time to get them. If we play it with the right attitude. The other thing is they're not going to walk in. You know, you asked the question. Your first question is, how serious are we going to take this? That question doesn't even arise over there. They're desperate to win this. So, and every one of their players will be desperate to win this. So they'll be up for it. Don't worry about that. But I think there's no argument. If we play our best, we win this game. I feel very comfortable and strong about that. If we play our very best, every team we put out, and we're capable of winning this game. So, I mean, I'm excited about it already, but then again, I'm going to be excited about every game this season because, and again, a bit like last season, we know what the team is there. Kai's starting, but he picked every team, and every week we kept on saying, yeah, that's all right. Changed it. Yeah, that's all right. And it's like, you know, a bit like that. I will be intrigued with one thing though. I think we are starting with one up by the looks of things, but we might not be.
Well, I was just saying that in the training yesterday, we'd just seen the pictures of the training yesterday, and there was quite a lot, Pat, where it looked like potentially there was a 2 at times, and with Kai Havertz, you've got that option to go and join him a little bit more, and Zach, that, like Pat's saying there, whoever plays in that front three has the capacity to go and join and be a part of it. So that fluidity and that flexibility within the squad, in games like tonight, when maybe you might need to change tactics a little way through the game, depending on how the opposition's set up, etc., that's a massive bonus for Thomas Tuchel to have going into this season.
100%, and that's one of the best things about Kai as well. He likes to operate off that left striker, left wing kind of role, where he, even if he is playing as a lone striker, he will gradually go towards that side, and he has that really good relationship with Kai Havertz now too, where they both link up fantastically well, and I wouldn't be surprised if we see a lot of that today.
Absolutely right. Well, we're just seeing the training pictures now, and even N'Golo Kanté there, Pat, you said about him not needing to worry about a fitness test. There was a slight moment in training yesterday where he ran off the pitch and he was being closely, I say marked by a physio by the looks of things, went into the dressing room and he came back about 10 seconds later, and for those 9 seconds that he was out of shot, everyone's going, oh no, please, not this close to the start of the season. But with N'Golo Kanté, you have a feeling it would need to be something extraordinary for him to be less than 97% because he's a phenomenon.
I think he's got one of those super lithium batteries that lasts forever. He's just changing it there. He's exceptional. It would be great to keep him fit for the entirety of the season. I do think there was a period at the end of last season, I think that was his best football he's ever played. I really do. And that's a massive thing to say because he's been so brilliant for so long. But he was doing things. And we all sat and watched that tackle against Spurs in the pre-season. Honestly, it was hilariously good. It was a tackle and a through ball at the same time. And you go, oh, come on, enough of that. So it's a joy to actually watch one. The technical side of it about whether we play two up front. Remember back when Conte won it with a 3-4-3 for us, win the league with a 3-4-3, but it didn't work next season. We've just won it with a 3-4-2-1. It's not going to work all the time. People will suss it. Premier League's not stupid, so we need to have that adaptability. I do get the feeling that we'll be a two up front quite regularly, but the other thing, we will go to a back four much more regularly this season than they have before. But what I would think he wants is us to be that fluid and adaptable we could do mid-game and be comfortable with it, and not just do it as a panic with 10 minutes to go. And I'm really looking forward to seeing that this season.
Preparations well underway in Belfast, of course, and yesterday the brilliant Antonio Rudiger caught up with Lee Parker.
Tony, first of all, welcome to Ireland, another big final. How are you? How are the group preparing for this game?
Yeah, hello first of all, and we're feeling good. We are feeling great. I think for a lot of players, like they had a good pre-season, and for some it was a bit shorter. But we are ready to go.
I know we spoke recently, didn't we, about that challenge. How has it been with players sort of integrating into the squad throughout this pre-season?
Yeah, me too. I came I just trained now 1.5 weeks, something like that. So it's the holidays are getting longer and the preparations are shorter. But still, I think we have to be ready in our minds, and we have to go to the limit. And the good thing is we have a big, good squad.
And how are you feeling personally? You look sharp in training at the moment.
Yeah, I feel good, and I think rest was needed. So now we're back to work, and now it's back time to give 100%.
You end one season with the final, you could potentially start another one, winning another trophy. What would that mean?
I think that would be a good start to the season, and and we have to be, as I said, we have to be up for it, and this has to be in our mind. To win trophies, and doesn't matter how the circumstances are. I think you have to go for it.
Villarreal will obviously be a tough team to face here tomorrow. What are you expecting from them?
Yeah, Villarreal, I think they've proven a lot of people wrong, because I think their final, it was everyone in the country thought it's going to be easy run for Man U. So they showed heart. They showed desire, and obviously it's a Spanish team. They're going to play good football, and obviously with their coach that knows how to play those type of finals, so that makes it also tough. But I think we just have to look at ourselves and don't underestimate anyone, and go with 100% in that game.
And finally, Tony, looking ahead to your now 150th appearance for Chelsea in all competitions. Now you're, I guess, one of the senior players in this group.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that, but so that can make that night even more special. And thanks for the motivation.
We look forward to it. Good luck.
Thank you.
150 up for Antonio Rudiger tonight, boys. And Zach, the difference in having someone of his experience in that back line alongside Thiago Silva, and in adapting to a new system and getting a new manager's point across midway through last season, his influence is I suppose only just come to fruition mainly, and we now appreciate a lot more how much he does on and off the pitch for the club.
Yeah, when Tuchel took over and he stepped into that back three, I've not seen performances like that from him. He really took it to another level, not just in his defending, but also with the way he progressed the ball. He really took into every element. I mean, a 3 at the back allows you a bit more defensive stability, obviously with having an extra defender. But the way he drives forward with the ball, he also allows us to attack much better as well. I mean, look at this against Sheffield United. He's also just a real defender, kind of John Terry-esque, willing to put your body in front of the ball, whatever it means. I mean, I remember this Sheffield United game quite well actually, and he did very well for us, that's for sure.
Pat, you've said about his one-on-one defending and how he seems to love the art of defending, which is kind of lost. I mean, this is not a good example of him being a defender. Yeah. This is unbelievable. But this is the quality that he has, but also in terms of not being beaten and being just enjoying the art of defending.
And he loves it. That ball that he plays there, he plays that a lot, and it's a good ball because we play with wing backs, so you need to stretch teams. And the way you stretch them is to play the ball quickly from side to side, and he is very, very good at it. His main strength is that defending. We don't often disagree massively, but I've always thought he's the best defender in the league. A lot of people didn't like him at the start as much. I did. I just thought, no, nobody beats you, nobody gets by you, and that goes right back to the start. And then there was the odd mistake, but nobody actually in 1-to-1 actually ever seemed to beat him. And it's a real specialism that, you're wasting your time trying to physically push him on the ball. A classic one was, all the simple stuff there. You know, it has to be simple. It's simple. And then people expect you to do something simple. Then he goes on a mazy. What? Do you know the lovely thing when he goes in those mazes? You shouldn't watch him. You should watch Jorginho. He just drops. He's like an anchor. It's like one of those kind of machines where one bit goes and the other bit's pulled back, and Jorginho just disappears into that back line as soon as when he's playing. Like this time here, you see him actually just going out a shot there. Jorginho just get back in there. Kovacic will do it if Jorginho's not there to do it as well. So everything about his game, yes, I agree, it's improving. I do agree, but I think the defensive side of it was always spectacular. And I've got a grid this season already for him. I'm going to tick every time somebody beats him. Right? I have absolutely got that. And I don't suspect it's going to be very full because all those bits of play there are great. It's showing you now he's a better footballer than people gave him credit for. That's just hilarious. And by the way, don't you dare track him. You just hurt yourself. But I've actually brought along last year's grids for how many times he was beaten. There you go. None at all. None.
Done on the fly. It's good.
On that as well, it's something tiny, it's something technical, and without getting too geeky, because again, I could listen to you talk about this all day, Pat. But having a right-footed, left-sided centre half is a lot harder than people make out as well. But he makes it look very easy in his compatibility in that system. So having someone that's so good in that system, Zach, it's almost like you don't, like Pat said, you don't need to worry about that. Yeah, that's sorted, that's done now, forget about that.
Precisely, and his weak foot ain't too bad either. He can pass with his left foot. I mean, he's such an intelligent defender. He reads the game so well, doesn't always dive in when needed to. He plays on the level of aggression fantastically, always on the line, never goes over it, uses his aggression always in the right way, and it riles up the opposition all the time. He's brilliant on the ball with his passing, but also something that I always love, always takes a shot. We'll always take one shot a game, but it tests the keeper. I specifically remember against Manchester United, David De Gea spilled it, and then we went to go and score. So he's always there. He's very intelligent, and hopefully he's at Chelsea for a while.
He's an important character as well, isn't he, Pat? To have characters, leaders, personalities within the dressing room is important.
Yes, he's a strong character. He's a leader, but we've got quite a lot of leaders out there as well. He's got one other thing about him is he's made for a back two as well. Mm-hmm. Two centre backs. He doesn't need to be one of a three. There are some centre backs out there you think, to be honest, David Luiz is better than a three. I love David, as people will know. I adored him as a player, but he was better than a three. Mm-hmm. But Rudiger's he's fine. He's a marker, and he'll just take care of the centre forward, whoever's up against him, and let whoever's playing beside him cover. Not that you need to, most of the time, to be fair. And that's something you have to add. The other thing, I don't know if we've talked about as much, he's lightning. He is stupidly quick.
Got a very unique technique as well.
But can you ever remember anyone beating him for pace? I can't. I really can't. And he not only is a lightning quick runner, but he's a power runner and an intimidating runner as well. See when you're running against him, you can hear him. You don't want that sound behind you. Honestly, he's got the whole package. Any club would take him if they could get him in the world just now because he's that good a defender.
Right. It's your favourite time, boys. Let's get to starting 11s. This is the quiz moment, OK? So I'll give you a little nod earlier to say it's from the 1998 Super Cup final when Chelsea beat Real Madrid. Okay?
I was 1 years old.
I don't want to hear it. Don't want to hear it, pal. I'm going to give you a life each, OK? I'm going to give you a life each. So because I'm going to allow Pat to go first to give you the time, to give you the feel of the team. So, Pat, go on then. You're first, mate. And I'll give you anyone in the squad, if they're on the bench, they didn't come on. 1998.
I was born in 97.
There's a couple of standout names that you'll get absolutely. There's a couple that we've had on Matchday Live in the last year.
Okay.
There's a couple that have been involved in the chat today as well. So,
right, okay. I hate to do this to you, Zach. Poyet.
He came on as a substitute in the 63rd minute.
Di Matteo.
He came off as a substitute in the 63rd minute. Good start.
I could actually kill myself right at the start. Wise?
Captain the team, of course he did.
Okay.
Yeah. Zach.
Okay. Desai.
Absolutely. Yep. Centre half. Good work. This is good, boys.
Who's the other centre half?
just thinking
Who's
of
the
the,
other centre half? Was it Dewberry?
No. It wasn't. He was playing though.
Oh,
it wasn't the other
I'll
centre
take
half.
him.
You can have it. You can have it. Zach, you think of Desai and someone else as a great centre half partnership. Same nationality. World Cup winner. Solid.
Going over my...
No, don't worry. I'm
Oh,
That's him. That's him.
the guy that's the French manager right
Yes.
now.
No,
Deschamps.
not him. No, close. Not him.
Oh.
though.
But he also played for Manchester United.
Is it like...
Go on, Pat. Yours.
No.
No, take it.
No, I'm not.
That's sportsmanship, but go for the kill if you get the chance.
No, I won't actually. Well, I'm actually now pushing that a wee bit because I'm.
There's a couple.
Remember, I was playing at the time. So at this point in time, you're completely focused on your career.
There's a couple of big names that are still involved with club matters here. Like I said,
I've got another.
Okay, then, I've got
You said I've got another one.
Oh, right,
Go on,
okay
Pat.
then. Very Tory.
Come on as a substitute, 89th minute, correct.
Zola. Was Zola playing? Yeah.
Came off in the 83rd minute. This is good, boys. Good standard.
Oh,
Zach's lost a life back. You're still all in.
Mate, we've only got one life each. Who was in
Goalkeeper.
goal?
Think.
Who was in goal? It wasn't Carlo.
No.
It was before Carlo, I know that.
Oh, I think I know the keeper.
Was he Russian?
No.
I know the keeper.
No, I'm not going to get it. I'm going to say Besant and it's going to be wrong, just to give you a...
It was wrong.
I want to get the keeper. I think I know the keeper, but I literally saw him a couple of days ago and I've completely forgotten his name.
Great moustache.
Did we go with
Leboeuf?
Leboeuf, yeah.
You can have Leboeuf. Yeah, we didn't say that. You can have that.
Send it back to Pat.
So
I'm going for 98, right?
Yep.
And I know I'm wrong here.
Go on.
And I'm going to just get it wrong.
Go on.
But if I don't say Lasso and Lasso was playing, I'm stuffed.
He's a good friend of yours, isn't he?
Yeah.
You should know that, shouldn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, he played the 80.
Oh, no. Okay. Mark, the Australian goalkeeper.
Mark
Bosnich.
Bosnich is not Bosnich. No. Zach, you've given it a good fight there, Zach, to be fair. Pat, you've won there. But Ed De Hoy was in goal. Albert Ferrer, right back. Desai and Leboeuf, centre half. Lasso, left back. There's the team. Dennis Wise, obviously, captain of the side. Michael Dewberry started right midfield.
Yeah.
Robbie Di Matteo. Celestine Babayaro as well. We've had him on for the Champions League last year. Zola and Kazaragi. And then on the bench, Hitchcock, Lampard, Brian Laudrup.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
Gus Poyet, Eddie Newton, Jody Morris,
Eddie,
both under
Jody.
Do you know the weird thing?
Oh,
Sorry,
no.
Was it Kazaragi that passed it to Poyet for the goal? I think
I think
Because
it
I was
was.
looking at
you're
going,
right.
who is that? And
I might have been Zola. That might have been Zola,
was
actually.
it
Might have been
Zola?
Zola,
Right.
but yeah.
I tried to see it.
Oh,
Good work,
That
boys.
wasn't bad. That
We
wasn't
did well,
bad.
yeah, you did better.
I think you did really well, considering you were
a little
one.
bit of help.
The irony that we're going to be having this same chat in 15, 20 years about this group of players as well.
Still not remembering.
I think you would. Let's have a little look at the team news. Obviously tonight, we know that in goal, Eduard Mendy is going to start a back three of Kurt Zouma, Trevor Chalobah in the middle of those three, and Antonio Rudiger Callum Hudson-Odoi, right wing back, Kanté as captain tonight alongside Mateo Kovacic, then Marcos Alonso, Hakim Ziyech, Kai Havertz and Timo Werner. Out of all of them, you're looking forward to a good performance from one in specific, in one word, Pat?
Kanté. I just love watching the guy. Simple.
And Zach, yourself?
Kai Havertz.
Kai Havertz. And I'm going to be very difficult here, boys. I'm going to be very difficult with first goal scorer, one word.
Timo Werner, 2 words.
Ziyech on fire.
Ziyech, it's got to be, hasn't it? It's got to be. Well, the Kings of Europe have their eyes on another piece of silverware at Windsor Park in Belfast tonight. So thank you very much for joining us so far. Not too long until we get to kick-off. So time to hand over to our commentary team of Ben Andrews and Jason Cundy.